Hi guys, and we're back with the next episode of Talking Trickline Therapy with Gabriel Amaral.
Yay!
And we were just talking about that a person is not only one thing, it's actually more things than that. So it's like you're not only a trickliner, performer at Michael Jackson show, Cirque du Soleil,
Designer,
and then DJ,
editor, DJ. Yes.
Because when I talked to you, I showed you the logo that I worked on for this podcast, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I can make it move."
Yeah. So, what do you mean? Like, I can do that too.
Yeah.
So,
or like when we were setting up this scene. He was like, okay, we need like something green over here. We need something green over here. So it's like we came from like a boring white couch to like a really cool design set. And I wish I had you for this for all of the episodes.
I was like, you should put some more green over here to look like a real
You have an eye for it.
Thank you.
So tell me, let's start with the story with tricklining story. How did it start? How did you first get introduced to tricklining?
Wow, yeah, it's actually a long story in terms. I'm gonna start with my background when what I was doing by the time that I met the slackline. Mm-hmm. I've been doing parkour for actually my entire life.
I didn't know you're a parkour person.
Really? Yeah, I was like, living in a farm for so long. I've been living in my dad's ranch in Brazil for 12 years. And in my entire day by day was just like skipping this, jumping here and there.
That's like a natural.
So why am I gonna have
style?
to? Yeah, like why am I gonna go through everybody's walking if I can just go faster this way? So my brain was always thinking that way. And then when I moved to a big city, to graduate, which I graduated in graphic design. That's why I know all these things. Motion graphics. Motion graphics, I did all that. I did commercials for TV for like 2 years back in the. That was in parallel with the slackline actually. So that will actually combine. As you guys are gonna, I'll tell the story. We'll be there in a minute. So, yeah. So then I started doing the parkour at the farm.
Was it like parkour as parkour, or was it just your way of moving that you call parkour?
So I was doing parkour without knowing I was doing parkour. So as soon as I moved to the city, I found something to, a sport that I could be doing there, which I compete swimming for a long time. And as soon as I actually saw on the TV parkour was, I was like, wait, I can do actually there in the city now instead of being doing, actually that's the psychology, that's the philosophy of parkour, which is you try to get from a place to another very quickly without wasting energy or anything else. So you're not gonna do a double flip or a wall flip doing that. That's actually a free running that became like a flower thing on top of parkour, which I love that too.
Yeah, I knew it was parkour and free running, but I always confused the two.
Yeah,
I was like, which one is running and which one is not?
Yeah, that's the big difference. Which was born like in Vietnam. We'll be very short on that. But in Vietnam, the Dave Bell, his dad, used to teach all the military in order to find better ways to get close to their enemy. So parkour was like rescue your friend, put it in your shoulders, and then run back to the medicals as fast as you can without wasting any energy. That's what I'm saying. Like all those, flips, whatever, it won't include in that. But of course, it's so beautiful.
Don't want to run with your friend and do a flip on the way.
So yeah, and then after I think was in the middle of high school, I saw somebody in my city in Belo Horizonte in Brazil. Walking on a slackline. So was a person already walking on a line, which was a climber for sure. So if you guys don't know, that mixture of a climbing and slacklining, it was very.
What year was that?
2010, almost 2010, 2011, almost by that period. And then I fell in love with I tried and I couldn't even walk. I'm like, no way, I can do that. And I couldn't. It was very challenging. So, and also I was looking for something else for me to work on, because parkour was kind of like, it got to a point that honestly was boring. It was like, just like, the competition was really against yourself. Like I wouldn't get better and better when what I was doing without even having to compete or something like that, which start having competitions or parkour later, but it's not that, the philosophy is not that. So when I got into slackline, which I thought was...
How old were you?
Oh my God, I was 22. I got into Cirque when I received the invitation. I was 24, so that was 2012 when I actually got the call from Cirque du Soleil. And then I actually had 1 year of slackline until Cirque actually found me.
Hang on. So you started tricklining, and then a year after you got into Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah, so it was something like that.
How? Tell me how that happened.
So my idea was when I saw this guy walking on the line, I was like, I want to do a backflip in it. I want to do something. So I went to a climbing store, a rock climbing store, got my kit, and it was like a 1-inch line wrapped with the old system, the little primitive system. And that's when I put the line by like underneath, and then start trying some backflips.
How long was it?
It was right like when I bought it.
Very short.
Was right when I bought the kit. Was right when I bought. Was the first thing.
I mean, like how long the line was.
Oh, how was the length?
Because you can't do like a long line.
It was like
it was really short.
It was like 12 meters.
12 meters.
How to say that in feet? Like probably 30.
Yeah, 30 something.
36
feet. Yeah.
Something like 35 feet. Yeah, it was very short. Of course, it was just like a.
Were you able to tension it by yourself?
Yeah, it was the primitive system. No, I have to have friends to help because but if you have only yourself, you can still. I remember you can still do, but it's very loose, of course.
So you start probably doing flips like feet to feet, right? Backflip.
Yeah, like 180 feet to feet, and then even back bounce to feet. What else? In 1 inch, 1 inch line.
It probably hurt.
Yeah, and the time was like very short. Anyways, it was very a good evolution from that on. And I remember, getting into Cirque, we're getting like me and Igor, we're getting like pretty much new tricks every day because we are having like a totally different setup in a long length, and we used to
when you
practice.
Got into circus.
Yeah, so let's probably get into
how did you meet Igor?
Well, in championships, actually, competitions that we had, I think it was São Paulo was one in Volta Redonda.
It's crazy that you guys had competitions like back then.
Yeah, it was like, I remember it was like butt bounce to chest, and 180 to chest, back to butt bounce, 180 butt bounce. It was like, maybe a ascension, but I think the hardest trick I think that I remember was the Carlos Neto did, which was the skydive. That's when the skydive was. I need to go to
those competitions so I can actually win something.
That was the hardest actually trick. Actually, that's when he created the skydive.
He created skydive?
Yeah, he did the skydive. It was 2000, if I'm not wrong, between 2011 and 2012, and it was in 2011 in São Paulo.
Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate the skydive.
He's amazing performer too. He's been with Madonna. He was at the same time I went to Cirque, he went to Madonna. Cirque, so it was like very, like I got goosebumps.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God.
So you met Igor through the competitions, right?
Yeah, I met him during this competition. I don't know exactly when it was because we had like a few actually in Belo Horizonte, my city, that he came to. He won actually that competition. It was really good to see him back in Cirque, which we worked together for like almost, I guess, I would say almost 10 years. You
and Igor competed and he got first and you got...
Oh, I mean, it was a few competitions. I think when I first met him, was the one in São Paulo, if I'm not wrong on that. But I twisted my foot in the middle of the competition. And then, but he got it. He was, back then, he was already, oh my God, a machine.
Was it still 1 inch trickline?
No, there was already, I think for halfway when I started doing the slackline, 2011, it was really quickly it was like a boom where we switched to 2 inches.
Was it Gibbon lines or was it?
Yeah, it was Gibbon, and then so I created a brand called Penafita.
I think I've seen those lines.
The Penafita is actually a logo I did to represent our family there. As soon as I started doing the slackline, we had a lot of I would say athletes, practicants.
Like athletes or
people that are just practicing because they're actually loving. That's why I say family, because not majority of them actually wanted to just hang out and go to a park and then just practice and do your kids with their
community.
Yeah, it was actually really nice because we got to a day that I was making a little every 2 weeks or something like that. I used to invite everybody, hey, bring your family, dogs, animals, everybody.
That's amazing.
And it was a day that was 30, I think I counted almost 30 slack lines was setting up. If
oh
you
my
think
God.
it's
In Belo Horizonte?
in Belo Horizonte, is a university of the state that we have there, and it's a huge area of just like flat. I mean, not flat, but pretty much a big space of trees and grass.
That's
so
crazy.
It was, you can imagine like a 30 slack lines attached. We
pretty
need
big,
to have at least 60 trees.
Yeah.
Perafita means like a foot on a line. So, and then after that, everybody had like this on a line, that on a line was like name of the city on a line. So it appeared a lot of brands actually saying the same concept that we were doing, which was cool. And then that's why we already like, I met Bernardo, this friend of mine that we were both like trying to travel Brazil, doing championships, bringing all the people from everywhere. That's what we did. Like we did a few times. We did in São Paulo, we did in Rio, along with Gibbon and Rio de Janeiro Gibbon. And a lot of places that we have people coming from Manaus, Amazonia, capital of Amazonia, like everywhere. Like we were so happy to like,
so
have all these people.
Sport.
Yeah, we were pushing to like making me and Bernardo trying to see how many people already practicing slackline in Brazil. How many of them wanted to compete? So we started reaching out to schools, all the places like cities around Brazil to see if they have they want to come or if a sponsor. We had a few sponsors that could cover their expenses in order to come and compete. It was actually really nice.
So you pretty much like were placing slackline in schools and like creating
also
competitions to bring the people. I think competition is so important because that's how you kind of get inspired. You get that drive. You see other people. I think it's like competitions are so important for the sport.
It's very important because also it brings the evolution of the sport in another level. So like before, like in terms of when I was parkour being my main sport, I didn't have that competition feeling yet because when I was practicing with my friends, we'd be mostly like, you got this, can you do that there? Yeah. So now can you do higher now? But it was not necessarily competing with me because I can do that because it's so organic. You can do so many like little things switching in there that you become just like you're competing against yourself in order to you get better and better. And the competition actually on slackline in all those sports, I think it's very important to have, of course, because we need the evolution of the sport. And that's why we have a lot of there in Brazil, because we're like bringing the climbing together along with the slackline competition in one event, which was something that actually we did that not many people were doing much. Like what we see here at GoPro Games, we were there yesterday. We just yesterday, guys.
Now we're back in Las Vegas.
We're back here today. Oh my God! So I think this type of concept of bringing together these
different
sports. Today we see more, but we haven't seen much back in then. That's what we were doing, bringing the climbing and the slackline together.
Especially because it was born together.
Yes.
Slacklining from climbing.
Always in my life try to share my videos, putting on YouTube, and then not with any intention in order to get anything, but to show the world, to show anybody that likes the same thing I like, to see like what I do.
Yeah.
That was me working as a graphic designer one day, and then I received through a Facebook message saying like, hey Gabriel, you like a lot your material, your videos about parkour and slackline. We want to reach out to you to say if you're available and interested to work with us at Cirque du Soleil in the creation of a new show, and that will be based on Michael Jackson. I was like, haha, joke. Okay,
funny.
All right. But I was like calling Bernardo, my friend. I was like, bro, that's not cool. Like I see it was everything like nice and then written very.
And he's like, what's the trick?
I started like calling him like, no, because we were having a lot of interviews like with TVs, local TVs in Brazil back when we were doing all these events and everything. I thought was one of them was like, global TV was a very big. So that was the only one I didn't have. And one day he was like, hey, Gabriel, this is a global station over. I'm like, oh, Bernardo, shut up. So when that happened, I thought it was him. I'm like, bro, it was not me. I didn't. And I came back to the email. I was like, oh my God, to the message, and I saw that everything was official. I was like, wait a minute, and I started actually trying to believe in that, and then I was talking to my boss, and then I got home. I told my mom, I think they're trying to get me out of here and go into Cirque, and I was like a little bit, feel like I was like stupid a little bit. I didn't know what to do.
I had like a very similar thing when I got contacted by Guinness World Record when they sent me an email, and I was like, okay, very funny. Like, what's the trick to it?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
What is the catch here, right?
You're like, where do you want me to transfer the money? You know.
That was actually a big feeling, and I haven't felt that actually never in my life before that happened.
Because it's just like a huge...
That was, I think the most similar I would say to that feeling is when I passed the test to the school, when I graduated, before I graduated, you passed to that course that you want to go. I mean, I feel like really, good feeling on that. And that was a very similar, but it's still like way different. And really like a bright energy that I cannot explain.
Were you scared? Like, was it like scary at all?
It was a mixture of feelings actually, because they asked me like, imagine like if you're practicing in a line where it goes actually in your hips height, and you don't have many tricks that you think you know, and then also the distance was like how many? I think was 15, 16 meters around that. And then they were asking for like a 25 or something.
You're like, oh.
22 to 25. I'm like, but then when they said that, at the same time I got excited because I'm like, hell yeah, because there's going to be a trampoline type of thing. And it's going to be, I could imagine actually in my mind how slow it will be, how much the tension will be, but way more. I could have it like, I think right away. But like at the same time, I was a little bit, that scary thing would be like, am I gonna be able to do it? You know? And so we talk a lot of through the phone until we get actually there, which was funny when I got there. Actually, they're trying to tie the line with one ratchet and 25 meters. I was like, sorry guys, you're not gonna be able. That's not gonna happen.
But it's crazy that now it's like 25 meters is not even that long.
Right? And then they actually created a system where we have to sit with them and talk about all these things and how tight it should be for that height that they wanted and for that distance too. And they created like a post where you could go higher. It's like a steel, very strong, and has a weird format, like a P in each side, where they have cables to hold. It was a nice system that they developed in order to have us. The line could be sent in like less than 30 seconds. So as soon as you put the post on, of course, the overall be probably 2 minutes, because that was actually less than 2 minutes putting the post and everything. If you think, it's super fast. For the acts that happens before, and then the posts are bringing from the top and goes on the floor, 2 cables bringing that back up there, and the line, somebody to cross the line really quick in the back. They had like a, the roll, the thing, and which is so primitive, but that's actually the best way to have to do. Whether in terms of like coming with the line like this, they have this roller,
because it's like it's not gonna get twisted.
So perfectly to the other side, put in there, and there will be a guy with the drill that will drill something that line will be like, and how do you say?
Do you guys measure the?
And the tension will be right there to see exactly the number will go and ready to perform. And as soon as the line will set up, I'll be stepping on stage like almost at the same time. That's really.
Is it still the same system for throughout like these years?
It's still, and I can tell like for us when we started at 2012, 13, it was a very nice and challenging line. It was delicious like to jump on that line. And today I feel like I think we did a little more, you know? It's funny, but it's still like, you cannot do, I think, the triple there. I don't know, but it's still kind of low. It's funny because it's high though, anyways.
It is high?
But I mean, it's the height of my chin.
I watched the show and I was like, oh my God, if the line was a little bit bigger, that could be even better. But it feels like with circus, it's like, it's gonna stays the way it is.
What the max they can do is just what they already have on the system. Like I said before, they can bring it up a little bit. But the line for the setup that was made for that setup, I had to choose elephants like lines because I think it was a really good line for that setup because of how it can hold the pressure in that distance. we
Is it a little bit thicker?
tried a
Like,
lot of
what
lines.
what
It's
is
a little thicker and it is stronger and it brings in and it actually gives you a good bounce.
Is it similar to like
a good
surfer
return.
line? Like because surfer line is a little bit thicker.
Actually,
Or is
it's
it a bit
thicker than a
thicker?
surfer line.
Really?
I think the regular gibbon is actually way too thin. We tried we tried to actually stretch so much, and then it's still touching the ground
Interesting.
for that distance.
So you wanted like less stretch.
And then I think the elephant is a little harsh, a little bit heavy, but it was actually holding the bounces. It was not like losing it too much.
I've tried once a line. It's like a blue thick line. I forgot the name of it, but I think it's like the thickest line. And if it slaps you so hard. Like I've tried it once, it slapped me. I'm like, oh, I don't think.
I have some of the yesterday, even though I didn't do much.
Marks, yeah.
But it was good.
But I think like maybe for you guys, since you're already set up, so you know like your all your moves, so you're not like training on that line. So maybe it's like a good choice.
Yeah, I remember like even Igor was like, yeah, this line is like, that's a good one. But like if we had like a competition, for example, it would be like a little shorter. So the line wouldn't work as much as which is a gibbon surfer wash would be better. So it's just about the setup we had.
Did Igor also receive that email from Circus, or did you bring him on board?
Okay, so unfortunately we had one of the slackliners that when I moved to Cirque, Igor was not in contact. People didn't have in contact with him yet. As soon as I got in Montreal start the creation of the show, this slackliner, they had some issue with him, I don't know, and then he had to leave. And they offered me his contract to be the main character. But in the show, just so you guys understand, we have a synchronized duo happening. So the two slackliners jumping, doing the same thing at the same time.
I think it's one of the best things that can happen. Like it's just so beautiful.
When it matches, it looks really nice. So I was hired to be the guy that will be with the main slackliner. So we have a rule of so we had an act with the slackline in it. There will be a main guy and the other guy is slackliner, right? So I was supposed to be this guy. And then they offered me to be the main character, which I will have to like learn how to act. I had to learn how to dance a little bit. And that'll be 3 in 1. So it'll be like a character acrobat and a dancer.
Yeah. It was so cool to see you on that show. Cause like, oh my God, I know this guy.
Yeah, it was very challenging and it was good because I knew some Michael Jackson moves too, but I was not as great as I thought. So they taught us very well. We had like some teaching how to execute better that move instead being like that. You gotta be like that in terms of like even how Michael will behave on stage if it was him right here. You'll be like, that was good though.
It's crazy to see right now because it's like everything is so polished.
Yeah.
So it's like you look so great on the stage.
Thank you. That was actually, that's what creation lasts for like, it was almost a year of a creation.
Really?
Because in Montreal, we had 5 to 6 months. Some people had 6 months. I had 5 months. But I was already people there from the trampoline already doing the rehearsals. And then we moved to Las Vegas in 2013, February 2013. And the opening was just in June. So it was like almost 1 year of a creation. Until June, we were just like creating and performing the shows for like people that works in the casinos for us to not, like the idea is to like, for the opening, it will be like, good and fresh already. So that helped a lot because we were performing already supposed to perform to the public, but it would be like a small crowd for the people that works in the casinos.
But it's really crazy that like Cirque picked up tricklining so early.
Yeah, I thought that too. I remember like I didn't have the answer actually back then because I needed to know like why you guys wanted to.
How? Like especially like this is like one of like
I think I asked
really
some of them
main acts in the show.
Yeah, so what made you guys choose the slackline, which was like, I think I remember asking them. It was something about the lines they wanted to use zip lines on top of the tower because they're a gang. So the act, again, if you guys don't know, the concept of the act that I used to perform in Cirque was the Bad song of Michael Jackson. If you guys don't know the song Bad, go check it out. And it's two gangs trying to battle and see who's better.
I like how you even move, like it's already like so perfect.
Because it was like that. That's what we're taught saying again, like if Michael was like tough, Michael will be on stage right now. What he'll be like, "What's up, bro? How you doing? You doing good? Yeah, all right. So you're not supposed to be here. Get out." So that's what something I was my character is like a nerd that wants to be part of that gang. But I was like falling all the time when I have my my legs. Yeah, I was like.
I think your character is also a little clumsy, right?
Yeah, clumsy was the name of my character, which it fits a lot with me because I'm very clumsy too.
Are you?
So yeah, sometimes I am, and that make me input some of my my essence, my person into that character, which this was really cool. Like like a aerial person, I always looking at it. Hey, Gabe. Oh yeah, let's go that way. I'm like, I forgot, and then all these things that actually was nice.
How did Igor get there?
Oh yeah, so when I was saying that, I got the role to be the character and the main character, they actually asked me they actually came to me and was like, "Do you know anybody that that you wanted to bring?" Like, we saw this kid here, like 19 years old, Igor Zambelli. I'm like, I know him. Like, we were thinking about bringing him. We contacted him, blah blah blah. I mean, from my side, I was like, now the guy that was like in the background be like, yeah, like that's the guy. And then when I can imagine like how I could feel that what he was feeling because I was passing through that already. I did that already. It was nice because I didn't expect that. Never in my life that I actually would be, working for Trick, especially with a friend. I mean, I would say a friend, but like he was actually a competitor. But for me, I mean, he's a friend. Of course, we didn't have much in touch, but we are like a family. Everybody have this feeling, So when he got, so he didn't go to Montreal. So we met straight to. It was so like a last minute that happened. The other guy to leave and then get to his rule, and then he had to learn all these things. So we meet him in Vegas. So he went straight to Las Vegas, and when we got here, and then he got the other part of the creation, which lasts until June.
Question: did you guys do the same tricks on a Trickline back then and now?
No. Oh man, now, yeah. It was an evolution of tricks though. Yeah. We had to change the routine a few times. Of course, for one period of time, it gets like the same thing, but we change one trick here and there. And also each one will have different routines too. Like one day that I'm fresh, I want to throw some stuff. Even if you get a new trick, we get to our coach and say, "Coach, I'm gonna put that one in a show." He's like, "All right, I'm watching." So it's actually fun because we were very open to do that. Like,
who is the coach?
It changes. I mean,
so
I can say
coach
names,
is more
but
like choreographer.
So the coach were the same coaches, the trampoline. So which was cool, which was good to actually to talk about that.
Is
because
it Gregory?
Huh?
Is it Gregory?
Gregory was one of them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they learn a lot with us, the slackliners, and what the names of the tricks, how hard those tricks are. For because they actually don't know. They probably have an idea, but with us, they're like, "Oh, is that harder than this one?" Yes, that's actually harder. So they learn a lot with us, and now they can, even for their curriculum, it will be a good thing because now they understand it's very specific thing. Slackline is very specific.
But it's really crazy to see all of the circus people here in Las Vegas. Not all, but like they're amazing athletes. They're in Michael Jackson's show that also tried tricklining, and it's crazy to see like these people who are like so talented and they try a tricklining and they throw some stuff that is really hard.
Because people it's a good point because they ask me like, well, what if you get sick or you cannot do or something happened, you cannot act that day, you cannot work that day. Yes, we do have some backups, and these guys are I don't know how to say, like they're the machines that can learn anything, like Paulo Souza, like Greg. The people that are in the show, they're trampolists. One is an Olympic champion. And man, these guys can learn anything really quickly. So they learn with us the slackline, and today they're actually really good.
But it's crazy because I really like the circus school, the Las Vegas Circus School.
Yeah, is that a circus center?
Circus Center.
Las Vegas Circus Center.
So I really like Las Vegas Circus Center, and I went to learn trampoline and trampoline there. And Greg was like, "Oh yeah, also I know how to do some tricks on a trick line." I'm like, "You know how to do trick lining?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm training with these guys who are in the Michael Jackson show." And it's like, it's crazy how like to see them perform, like especially like with gymnast skills, like their way they rotate and stuff like this.
They have some knowledge already in how to behave in some of the tricks. And like I said, Greg was amazing. Like he was to be my backup for a while. Now I think he's the one that's being the main character right now, which I'm very glad that, he's doing that.
Did they help you learn some stuff, or did you help them learn some stuff? Or
exactly.
Both?
Everybody just said sometimes they help us, they're like, look, you should just like take more time and wait a little bit before you turn this way.
That's
anyways, any other tips from them as a gymnast was very useful because I was not a gymnast to be honest.
Exactly.
So
like
all the things I learned
are not gymnasts.
Yeah, it was pretty much like parkour that I knew, and other, what do you learn when you're little, and that helps a lot.
So you also have like a good training, like with people who understand like how flips and spins work.
Sorry.
I'm saying like you also had a good training space, because you were surrounded by people who understand.
Oh yeah, and everything there was good though. I mean, if you wanna throw a new trick and you're like, oh, I'm afraid because I don't have anything. No, you had anything you want.
Yeah, like we're gonna throw the mat or
or even a mat or in a double mat or even like protections that we want. They're actually very like anything you need in order to be able to perform nicely and the greatest. We have anything you have here for you. So that was one of the amazing things.
Do you miss competing now?
I do though. But the feeling of having yesterday being part of this event, in Vail, it actually just brought me back to that feeling because. As a judge, it's a very new thing, different feelings, of course, but I can't imagine all these guys like throwing all the tricks they know. And it brought me back to actually the feeling that I was when I was competing there 7 years ago. 7 years ago is so long, it feels like it was like a couple years ago. And all this time.
When did you start performing? What year was it?
So with Michael Jackson, so I moved in 2012, end of 2012, and then we started performing. I mean, we opened in June, but then since then it was like 10 years of performing.
Did you have a break? Like, did you get a chance to like take a break and like do some?
We had. I mean, in a show we had 2 shows a day, 2 shows a night, 10 shows a week, pretty much. And it's a lot if you think.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It's like we've done more than 3,000, 4,000 shows. I don't know, remember. 2 shows a night. We had a 1 hour and a half of a show, and we have a break of 1 hour in between 2 shows. And I mean, when you get home, you just like after that, you're like
probably midnight,
just want to relax. Next day, you have until like sometimes you have training at 3 p.m. So you can wake up. We know, you have to worry about like being there early. You were asking like if we have time to do other things. Yes, the part of the morning, a little bit of beginning of the afternoon. So we have time to do whatever you want. But it was at the beginning was a very push because we had trainings a lot of rehearsals. And every time we have a new person, a new artist in a show, we have actually to run the show as it was like supposed to be like the third show of the day because we're called to be there a little bit early to run the show in all the show conditions, lighting conditions, everything as supposed to be performing for that person to do one run before she actually be doing for the public, which is very nice actually to do that.
But what happens like, do you have like a vacation or something? How does that work?
It's very, we're not that much, we don't have much of a freedom, but we have sometimes 3 days off every 3 months or something like that, but 2 days off as a regular weekly, but sometimes we have 2, which is a 6-day week. So we work 6 days and have 1 day off. And that varies. And then we have 2 big 2 times 2 weeks yearly to, you know, in order to travel or do whatever you want.
How's your body feeling? Is it used to it?
I think I'm getting old.
How old are you now?
I'm 35 now. Yeah, I've been with Stick for 10 years, including the COVID, but like, you know, but it's so crazy because I thought I was not going to go that far. I thought I was gonna be with Stick like for maybe 3 years, and maybe 4, and then it was going, and we were doing all the events here too. We had like it was the World Championship. I don't know. It was on stage actually. Was on a Michael Jackson stage in 2016, if I'm not wrong. So I remember we had
How did that happen?
So it was a pretty much a conversation that back then Emilio was our sponsor. He was helping us a lot with, you know, equipments and money to travel, other things in order to help us to compete. And then he helped setting up this big event, which was a high line on top of Mandalay Bay.
Yeah,
which is crazy until today. It's been like almost 10 years, and then that's been one of the craziest things,
yeah, I've
right?
heard about it when I just like were barely slacklining, and I knew that some people were going from Los Angeles to Las Vegas for this event, and I couldn't even imagine of joining because I was just like not even in the scene yet.
So this event was very interesting. They put 4 lines in. For who that don't know, Mandalay Bay Casino is like 3 wings like that, you know, as a building, and they hook up like 4 lines between those wings. Yeah. And then Andy Lewis got the record of urban record on that long one. It was a short 3, and then the 4th one, I think it was 100 feet back in then. And he got it. He had a few tries, but was amazing. It was really nice. Are you talking about
like a highline or free solo?
The highline. I don't know if he free solo. I think
probably not.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I think he just was just the crossing in that height, in that distance as a urban line back then was the record. Today is like
today's like the records are crazy.
It's a mile length, so it's crazy. And so for that event was a high line on the first day, which was this some 4 performers, slackliners actually. I think Mickey was one of them. Mickey Wilson was one of them.
Probably Jan.
I don't remember everybody, to be honest.
Was Gapai?
Gapai?
Because I think Luke was talking about this.
No, Gapai was part of the competition. So yeah, was this highline event, and the next day was supposed to be the competition, which happened on stage.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. It was really nice to watch from the audience, like in a theater, watching the competition happening. It was very nice, even for people
Who won that competition?
Who won the competition? Was Carlos Neto, I think. Yeah.
We can see.
So I think Alex Mason was one of the final guys. Was Alex Mason, Carlos Neto, Gapai. We should check it out who was the first,
so the top
second,
3 we
third.
know, but the order is we'll check.
We'll check later.
So going back to the beginning of your career, how easy was it for you, like emotionally, to be performing? Like this feeling when you're competing is really stressful.
Yeah.
But like, what about performing?
It's a very good one because it's challenging for whoever person is. It's in order to be showing your skills in front of 1,800 people.
Twice a day.
Twice a day. It's very challenging. At least for me, it was. And yeah, we had some, Cirque was offering all types of help if you want to. And then I have some curiosity in terms of like, what can I do in terms of like to not be that nervous or to not be like, my hands are sweating. What can I do in order to help that? And yeah, they had a few.
For me, it's like my leg is shaking when I'm scared.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, they help us a lot. And I remember some of the things that I used to do is like to remember the songs that you like, start singing,
really?
stuff that you like. Even like breathing slowly up and down, and actually make you like get into a mood where you forget about thinking that thing that you're not supposed to be thinking, that makes you nervous. And as soon as that song comes and you step on stage, that disappears. It's literally like that, and then you feel like most comfortable actually afterwards.
For me, it's like I haven't performed that much, but it's similar for me with competitions. Like before, I feel really a lot of like adrenaline, and it's like I almost feel like high on that adrenaline. But then once it starts, it's just like I'm there.
Yeah.
You're just in that moment, and
it
just
feels like
goes.
nothing happened in order to like when you're like nervous before. As soon as you're like I said, as soon as I step on stage, everything that I need to do, all the stuff that I learned, in order to be there, what I need to act right now, I need to go to the right and left, or what should I do? So when you start thinking all these things that if part of the choreography or part of all the the stuff that you have to do in the act, you actually start having fun. You actually start to a point to start thinking like, what should I do here instead of what I actually was doing? So maybe I should add a new
like a little thing there.
Yeah, so that's the moment that you know you're comfortable, when you're like, oh man, as I walk, instead tripping and looking that way, I should trip and look to a person and then fall instead. Anyways, some stuff that you like, it was very
but
fun.
I've heard that actually so they use this technique of giving people what to do just to keep them busy so they don't get nervous.
That's probably the same concept.
In space, or something like this. So you were like, okay, open this, turn this on, do this. So it's like you're busy with thinking what to do instead of being scared. Like for me, it's like similar on Highline. If I just sit there and look around, I get super scared. But if I'm just gonna go here, I'm gonna put my leg there. So maybe like with performing, that's the trick, because when you're like sequencing what you're about to do, like you don't have the ability to think.
Yeah, it's just
to be
like
scared.
Yeah, it's just how your brain works, right? So you gotta think about, like in order to go on a line, what do I need to do? Oh, I need to think like, oh yeah, Gabriel, just put your right leg here, and then as soon as you look at it, so as soon as you start thinking about those things, you automatically forgetting about the part of getting you nervous. Yeah.
What about like the lights and the costume? Does that bother you?
That was very challenging too. And that we worked together with the lighting team, which was cool. And then we had some runs where, all right, guys, everything you're practicing here, now let's try with the lights on. Oh, that was so horrible, actually. It was really, really hard because some of the tricks, one of my last tricks was a back flip to feet. And that one, when you go upside down and you look to the other side upside down, there's a lot of lighting going on a sideways like that. So they just had to like twitch a little bit. Instead of going here, they'll go like here,
There,
But it's still like sometimes it catches you. You have to just deal with it.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
But it was very challenging, especially when they clean the lights, because there's it gets to a point that you get dust everywhere. When they're like every 2 months or something,
so
they gotta do a deep cleaning. They let us know like, hey guys, tonight we had a cleaning, the lights, so it should be brighter tonight. And then yes, we can feel it. It's crazy how it makes a little difference.
That's crazy.
For all the acts actually. For the trampoline, they had to run with the lights and see, oh, this light one, oh, it's off. And then they try a different one. No, it still bothers someone. Light here still bothering me. There's one here that that one should be doing something about it. And then they find the light and they do adjustments for you. So.
And especially like you guys have like such a huge tramp wall act. How tall is
It's one of the highest walls in the world, I think, in performance. 18 feet, I guess. And there's a higher one where they do the last drop, which I'll check. I'll make sure how much. I think it's way more than that. But it's 18 feet from the first platform, and then the highest one where is the last drop of the act.
So I know that while being in Las Vegas and performing, you also pursue your other passion, which is DJing.
Again, is a multi-activity person. So again, so how can I start with that? Because music is one of my passions too. Like I used to produce like reggae music, make lyrics when I was like in my 20s, 21, 22,
but also
like 18.
It might be like a part of Brazilian culture as well.
I guess
just
so.
Like you guys are so connected with music.
Yeah, I play some instruments. I play like drums too. I actually got a electronic drum, which is
that's nice.
is a pad where it can have like 1,000 of sounds in one thing, which was amazing. That's what I do now, performing, doing DJ and drumming a little bit. So yeah, turned out to be a DJ now. I'm a resident DJ. The Club Eagle is an after hours club here in Las Vegas. And that started.
I saw you there too.
That started. Yeah. Did you go to the club or?
I think we met. I went there once.
Oh, that was oh wait, so it was a different club when it was
COVID or something.
Was Tempo? No, when it was.
I don't remember the name. Maybe it was Tempo.
It was a different name because they changed the name now. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's like I saw you actually DJing before I saw you on stage.
No way.
Because I watched the Michael Jackson show last year.
Oh,
and I saw you DJing maybe a few years
that's
ago.
Right. That's cool. That's actually really cool. Yeah. So during COVID, we had to stop the show, and that was already right before I already was playing with the how to play, and then I started enjoying a lot. Same thing, like as a hobby, started being like my profession now. As a slackline before was my hobby.
You a little bit, yeah.
You went to Cirque is my profession now, and now DJ was like just something that I was just going to watch the DJs and watch for the shows, and now I'm right there working as a DJ
it's
now.
So awesome.
So I've been having fun a lot, and also be producing too. Some tech house, more very specific part of the electronic side, which we call tech house. So maybe sometimes a progressive house, but been producing a lot now, trying to release my tracks on Spotify and everything, and trying to get to a point where I don't have to work. Actually, I always do something that I like. That's
so
what
cool.
I call. So I'm going to work now. I'm going to have fun. That's what I used to do in Cirque for 10 years. Just have fun. I never work. I think I don't have a job. I just do things that I like.
I want to ask you, what would be your advice to people who start tricklining? Like, if they're starting now, what would that be? Like, do they, maybe they want to perform, maybe want to get a performance career in tricklining, or like a competing career. So, what would be your advice?
Well, the first thing, if you want to perform or not, but if you want to learn slackline, first of all, of course, you need to get a place you feel comfortable to practice. Get a kit, already start walking on a line. If you know anybody that already do slackline, just reach out to these guys and then ask what is the best thing to do. Well, that's what I did. I tried to, actually. I got into the community, but then I also training a lot by myself in order to learn and to do what I wanted to do, But yeah, it should be, probably today they have already gyms that they, set up like a circus center. They were having slackline there back in then, but... Yeah,
there is no slackline there right now.
No.
Like, I really wanted it there.
Yeah, so I think it's still a specific thing. So it's not it's not something that you see anywhere. So the way I started was just like me and a friend that actually wanted to practice too. Go to a park, always have your protections, your like light clothes. And in order to get the tricks, I was watching the videos on YouTube. But I always try to get somebody that has that knowledge. If you know anybody, try to see these videos on YouTube and just go for it. The thing is if you not do it, nobody can do it for you.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
Gotta go there and do it. Even if you have nobody teaching you, literally trying to learn how to cross the line and make those simple tricks first. And then little by little, you start getting the line a little longer, and then the pressure also a little, the tension also a little higher.
Yeah.
So, and then you're gonna feel it from that one.
And what about like connecting tricklining, what we talked about earlier, that is not all of you, or DJing is not all of you.
Yeah.
How does that work?
That's very interesting, because in my life, people say, oh, you're a DJ, right? I'm like, I start answering these questions. It made me think a lot of things. That's why I was telling Olga, like, I've been writing a lot of things around that assumed that it talks about who you are, like, why. So you're a designer. So because you graduated in graphic design.
I didn't know you as this.
I'm like, I'm not a designer. Like, I mean, it's part of me too, but I'm not a DJ neither.
You can be many things.
I'm not a slackliner, So it's funny. So because that made me think like the person that you want to become, or what do you want to do in order to be successful in life, or and
or
that
just feel like fully
so
yourself.
That thing is like that made me think like, what is there a word for that? So I think artists it will be genetically saying all the functions that a person do. I think artist is the most closer one that, but it's not like, oh, he's an artist, wow, cool. But no, it's in terms of like the word by itself, what most of the things that you can do. Like we were talking about the scenario here.
Like
we were just like,
look at
oh
this.
no, let's put some stuff like here and then put some green there. They'll look cool. So it's some of the things that you always think all the time without thinking that you're actually working.
It's just with you.
It just
like
comes.
that creativity is just with you.
I guess so.
I feel similarly. Like I think I have like a main thing, like not main thing. I think like if one thing becomes inaccessible to create with, I just grab another thing and create with it. You know, like it just like I think you're right about the artistic mindset of like creative mindset.
Yeah, and now because for me, I'm an only child. I don't know if that affected a lot because when you have your moments that you're by yourself, that's when the creativity hits you the most.
I agree, yeah.
So not that I'm by myself all the time, but I look for those moments all the time in order to create things that I want to do. Because you have to have those moments. A moment that you're like even like boring, where you're like, and then you're like start switching your brain that works differently. That's at least for me. That's what I do. And you just have like these times, and then you start creating everything. You know,
it's also recommended for kids. You know, like to have like some instead of like a lot of toys, to have like a little bit time of boredom because then the kid can create something.
It actually is true because you're like, what I'm gonna do. So then it makes you like start generating things that if you're like doing other things, you're never gonna create. You're never gonna do anything like that.
Okay, guys, get bored. Get slacklining. We can talk forever, but we're gonna finish up this episode with Gabriel. And I also like the way it's like shine brighter. You know, like get your light out there, so you can also like attract people that are similar to you or like inspire people.
Yeah, because you never know. You can be, people probably too afraid to show what they like, which is for them is probably beautiful, but they're afraid to show to the world, thinking that they're not gonna think that's that beautiful as she thinks. But what is blocking you to do that? Just do it, you know what I mean? Like that's what I keep saying to people like, oh yeah, I've been doing this and that for like, you should be just doing. Put your work on. Post that thing on YouTube. Just share that. Everything you do, if you like, you keep it to yourself. How the world's gonna see?
Yeah,
that's why I'm very down to like. I have a lot of friends that they're really good acrobats or professionals. They don't want to put their work on that because they think people are gonna copy or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You have that side of it thinking, but in my opinion, it's like I'll like love it if I do a front flip to feet for the first time, and I did that trick, and somebody did a front flip to feet with the eyes closed.
Yeah,
it's something else.
That's how like the world grows.
That's how we push each other. That's how the evolution and the importance of the competition is. So that's how I learned too.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching, and we're ending this episode, and we'll see what comes next.
Let's go. Thank you.
Bye.